Lunsford Strong. The School 19 community will demonstrate our core values of kindness, leadership, and dedication. At School 19, scholars, family, and school staff and community members will work collaboratively to meet this goal. We will develop the knowledge, skills, and practices needed to have a positive impact on the world. And this is our vision. We are Lunsford Strong. We are kind. We are leaders. We are dedicated. We persevere. We will change the world. So this is our agenda for this evening. Welcome. We're going to do quick introductions. We have some new faces, so welcome to the new people. We're going to review our data. Since the last time we met, I did have to present at the board. I did a board presentation, so I just want to share the data with you that I shared with the board. And once we get to that, I can show you the full presentation or just the data slide, so we can talk about which one we're interested in seeing. Then we're going to have some share-outs on our subgroups. So the last time we met full team, we broke up into our 3 subgroups. And then we decided that we would meet with our subgroups and then bring that sharing back to the full team. So we'll just have some quick share outs, and then we'll have closing and next steps. Questions, concerns before we continue? All right. Oh, sorry. So before I do continue, let's go ahead and do welcome. So I am Monique Silas-Lee, proud principal of Dr. Charles T. Lunsford, school number 19. Carla, would you like to go next?
I'm Carla Carey, instructional support team at School 19.
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Cross, assistant principal for elementary here at 19.
Oh, hi, I'm John DeFazio, proud assistant principal of school number 19.
Crystal Simmons, assistant professor of study Geneseo.
Good evening, my name is Matt Liston. I work at the Gandhi Institute and I work at School 19.
Good evening, Karen Lewis, first grade teacher.
Hi, I'm Jamie George. I'm the operations manager at the Villa of Hope Clinic.
I'm Eleanor Coleman. I'm the president of Rotary Southwest, and I'm the placement coordinator for Catholic Family Center's Youth Build program.
And I'm Inge Williams, and I'm the school liaison and coordinator for Links for Kids.
Alex, could you introduce yourself, please? I know you just walked in. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Alex. I work for the Gandhi Institute for Nonviolence, and I do preventative social emotional support.
Okay. Is there anyone else other than Alex who didn't get the sign-in sheet?
And Rebecca, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Rebecca, third grade teacher.
All right, so welcome to people that are new and good to see all of my old friends again. So first thing I want to talk about is the progress that we made toward our indicators that we had last year. So anyone remember the number of indicators we have? What's that magic number?
It's 13, right?
13.
Wait,
Why not though? 13 is our magic number. So this is a picture of the slide that the state sent me regarding our progress toward the indicators. So the way this reads is that there's some symbols. If it's a question mark, it can be a question mark in yellow or a question mark in green, depending on where you are toward the indicator, but it's also stating that the results are not yet quite ready for that particular indicator. A green check mark means that you made it, and an X means that you did not make it. So I'll go through them quickly. I know, is it too hard to see? You want to move closer?
No, it's me. I've been on the computer too long.
Oh, you guys are being kind. Like I couldn't see if I was sitting there.
Yeah,
I'll read them out quickly to you if you like. So the first one for grades 3 through 8 ELP, that's going to be our English language learners. We had a progress target of 0.7, and we don't have the results yet. And the reason that could be is because maybe we didn't have a large enough population to test. So they're still trying to work that out. The next one is ELA students, core subject PI is performance indicator. Our target was 33.7 and we made it and we earned a 42. So good growth there. Next one is 3 through 8 math, all students, core subject, performance index. And our progress target was a 30.8 and we earned a 34.2, so we made that one. Thank you. And next one is grades 4 through 8 science, all students. Our target was 115. Our result was 147.9, and we made that one. Next one was 3 through 8 ELA All students, MGP, which is the growth measure, our target was 40.9, and we made it with a 46.9. Next one is math, all students, MGP, our target was a 45.4, and we made it with a 45.5. Barely, but we did, we'll take it. Next one is school safety, progress target was a 0.4, we made it with a 0.2, because keep in mind, you want to lower suspensions, lower referrals, so a lower number is a good number for this one. Chronic absenteeism, all students, our target was a 44, and we earned a 45.9. And again, this one you want to lower, so that's why we didn't quite make that one. And then the next one is the plan and implement community schools model. So our progress target is, yes, we're going to do that, but it's still too early to determine whether we've done it successfully, so we have a question mark for that. Okay.
You can take this off.
And then the next one is providing 200 hours of quality and extended day learning time. So progress target is a yes, but they don't know yet because we haven't quite completed those hours. Family and community engagement, progress target, there are some numbers there because it's a rubric and we have to look at the things on the rubric, and they just haven't determined if we have actually met those yet. And then the next one is grades 3 through 8 ELA. ED stands for economically disadvantaged students. For subject, our progress target was 33.5, and it looks like we may make it. I think they're still double checking the numbers at 39.8, which is why there's a question mark, but it's green like we're gonna make it. And then the last one is math, again, economically disadvantaged students, and the target was 31, and hopefully we made it with our 32.2. Any questions on those? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just wondering, so when they put all that together, they're saying that that's 88% of our, of all the points that you could have gotten.
Of the ones that were graded.
That were graded, okay,
So
so
all
that,
the green check marks and the 1X.
so that, now that 88% will change once the rest of the results are.
Right. So we could choose.
And are all the results that are question marked, will we get a grade on that for last year? Or do some of those, like I remember them saying something about like English language learner students, if you didn't have a high enough population, they still grade you on it, but they take 2 years worth of data, so you only get that grade every other year. So like, are some of those question marks things that we're not going to get until next year, or will all of them be filled in by eventually?
So those are really good questions that I asked at our last receivership meeting, and they didn't have the answers, but we have a state visit tomorrow. So those questions are definitely ones that I'm going to be asking, because I'm not clear, Carla, if we're going to be graded eventually for last year, or if they're going to let it just continue over into this year. So I'm not sure. Okay, so this is the point where I pulled out some slides around data, or I can go through the full board presentation depending on what everyone wants to see. You can talk about it. You can say it's nice outside. Let's just look at the quick data. So keep it moving, man. Okay, love it. So these are just the data slides that I shared with the board and the superintendent. So what we did was we looked at a few specific indicators, ELA, math, and science. And what the district did for me was they gave me each grade level. They told me the number of students currently enrolled on this date, which was about 3 weeks ago. And then it tells me the number of students that I need to earn a 2 to make this demonstrable indicator. And then I had to add in the number of students that currently met the goal from last year's testing, and then the students that were in proximity of making the goal. So if you look at this at 4th grade, in 4th grade, we had 39 students on this date. Of the 39, in order for us to make this demonstrable indicator of ELA performance index, we need 15 of those 39 right here to score a 2. And then the next column, we had 19 already from 3rd grade that are now sitting in 4th grade that scored at least a 2. And of those students, 14 of them in parentheses earned a 3 or a 4. So now, I'm looking at the next level, we have 11 high-level ones. If a child is performing at a high-level 1, there's a good chance that we can convert that to the next level, which is a 2. So those are the target students. The students that are currently sitting there, because we want to maintain that, and then the students who are really close as well. And then that's how you would read this chart. And then on the other side, I just put in some interventions, some things that we're doing, building why, to continue with our success. So at 5th grade, we need 15 students to score a 2. Right now, we have about 10 that are there. 6th grade, we need 15. We have about 7 that are there. 7th grade, we need 22. We have 11 that are already there. 8, we need 22. We have 5 that are already there. But if you look at the students in proximity, there's plenty of students in proximity that we can push to help us make that goal. Any questions around this one? And very similar slide, just with math. So again, the grade level, the number of students sitting in that grade level, the number of students we need to score at least a 2, and then the current number of students that scored that level or higher the previous year. So again, if you look at it, we're pretty close. At 4th grade, we need 14. We have 16 sitting there with 9 more that are really close. 5th grade, we need 14. We have 10 already there, 22 that are close. 6th grade, we need 14. We have 3 there, 17 that are close. 7th grade, we need 21. 12 are there. 19 students are really close. 8th grade, we need 20. We have 4 currently, and 21 are sitting there. And the last slide about data is very similar, but it's just science. The one thing that's unique about science, in order to make this performance indicator, all students have to score between a level 2 and a level 4. All students. So in 4th grade last year, we did that. All students scored between a level 2 and a level 4. And in 8th grade, 34 of the students scored between a level 2 and a level 4. So the number of students in proximity, I just said there has to be all of them because we don't have a choice. Like, we need them all to make that 2 through 4. All right, that's it with data. Any questions? I can flip back to any slides if you like. Any questions? Does it seem hopeful?
Yes.
It really does. Like, when you look at it this way, it really seems doable because we have enough students sitting there right there that we can push over to help us make the indicators. So I'm feeling confident that we're in a very, very good place right now. And we know what we have to do, and we're having these conversations in October, not when it's testing month. So we can target. And I also have names to go with every one of those students, so we can look at the actual student to know which students we should be focusing in on and pushing forward. All right, so now we're going to transition to share outs. So I'm just going to ask that one person from each one of our teams just goes ahead and shares out on what the team has been working on over the course of the last month. Remember, our 3 areas of focus are instructional model, restorative practices, and community engagement. Does anyone need an overview of what any of those committees are? No?
I do.
Sure, Eve. I was wondering if you were going to ask. So our instructional model, can I have someone from that team just give a quick overview of what our instructional model is?
Instructional model looks at our collaborative co-teaching model and how it's working at each grade level, how we're providing professional development to those grade levels, and also looking at data to inform instruction.
Okay.
Restorative Practices is just best practices around building relationships and repairing relationships. And we have several systems and processes in the building that we're monitoring to ensure that we're doing that with a common language.
Okay.
Community engagement, anybody want to jump in?
I sent a video out.
You want me to turn the camera on you? So community engagement is just working effectively with our partners, making sure we have partners that meet the needs of our school, and also are we meeting the needs of our partners as well. So just making sure we have that mutual relationship. So Ingrid, you're going to have to decide on a group that you would like to join, and you're welcome in anyone.
Okay.
When I think instructional model, I think of all of things teaching and learning.
When I think of restorative practices, I think about our school climate and culture, and then community engagement is the greater community.
Okay.
And just so everyone knows too, and I don't know if I've stated this before, but the CET team, so when you look at the org of this, the CET team is like the huge umbrella. We brainstorm all of the ideas, and then it goes to the school-based level where there's leadership and teachers, and then we start to implement some of those ideas that come from CET, and then we have a teacher-based group for each one of these as well, and they actually implement everything that school-based and the CET team have come together. So it's a bigger picture, so it's 3 different levels of these teams. All right, so I guess we can just transition into share-outs. And I cannot be first for share-out too. Come on, friends.
I can go.
Well, you thank me, Carla.
You know I'm brave. Although my computer just turned off again. So we're from the instructional group, and basically we took our. There were a lot of things that were listed. Different items that were listed for instruction, and last time we had chosen 3 to kind of focus in on, and then we really ended up, we picked 3 major ones, but a lot of the other smaller items kind of fit under those, so we kind of smushed them all together, and let me pull up my, sorry, it's shut down, so I can read what we came up with. So our first major focus item was culturally responsive teaching in all aspects. And so the implementation plan included the Victorious Minds Academy teacher leaders at each grade level. There's 1 at each grade level. They meet with Marie Millord 1 time per week before school, so she's kind of helping the teachers develop their knowledge in this area. They're reading books and articles about culturally relevant teaching, and then they're bringing that back to their teacher team so that they can implement that in models. And so that's one implementation, part of the implementation plan. Crystal Simmons, they meet once a week in the morning before school, so they're meeting regularly every week. Crystal Simmons is a professor from Geneseo. She's also working with, or will be working with School 19 teachers to help them design and implement culturally relevant units. So, do you want me to go into this much detail? Is this too much detail?
No, I'm enjoying it.
All right. So, as far as like measuring our success in this area, we were thinking that that the VMA lead teachers could design some both qualitative and quantitative data collection on their grade levels implementation of the culturally responsive teaching practices, and we were thinking they could probably come up with just some very simple measures. Like part of the Victorious Minds Academy is like how your room is decorated, what do you have up, what you are, what kinds of books that you're reading in your interactive read aloud, those types of things. So there's just some, I think, easy visual things, and also like unit implementation. So there probably could be a pretty easy quantitative measure that could be designed for that. And then we were thinking maybe some qualitative data too, just teachers sharing some of what they are noticing about how the implementation is going and how students are affected by that. And then we thought that Crystal could also, kind of document the work that she's doing at the various grade levels, and co-reflecting with the teachers on how that's going with the implementation. So that's all under the culturally responsive teaching in every aspect. Our next category of focus was to refine the co-planning and co-teaching models to include more collaboration and support for implementing the instructional model during the day. So part of the implementation plan for this are the 3 required planning times during the week where each grade level team is meeting together on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays during a common planning time. On Tuesdays, they have a focus on individual students. This team includes the school psychologist and problem solving for how they can support students who may have some need or maybe struggling. Wednesdays, the focus is in engaging in the DataWise protocols or process for looking at student work. So this is something that's being done kind of district-wide for receivership schools, and basically we're getting training and a process for how to look at student work and use that to help us plan instruction and make our instruction more responsive to student needs. And then on Thursdays, the teams are co-planning they do co-planning on Mondays and Fridays also, but on Thursdays they're co-planning, and they also have the support of the instructional coaches. So we're involved, an instructional coach is involved in that co-planning process. Another part of the implementation plan is that the instructional support coaches, that we're both co-planning with teacher teams in areas, and we're also pushing into K-8 classrooms regularly and on a daily basis to collaborate with the teachers on the instruction and improving the model. And then the last piece of that is that the teacher teams are looping with the students for 2 years. So this is part of our model, but as we're moving along here, we're trying to get that more consistent, and hopefully that we have stable teacher teams that are able to loop so that the students have the same teacher team for 2 years. And that goes all the way up through from 1st to 8th grade, they're looping. As far as measuring how we're doing in this area, we included required meeting minutes and the deliverables from those meetings, the work completed, the lesson plans, student intervention plans, the data analysis. There's a lot of work that comes out of those meetings, as well as the meeting notes. Observation feedback from instructional support coaches when they're going in and working with teachers, and tracking for the looping, tracking the students' academic performances for the 2-year loop. So we're hoping to see an accumulative positive effect on student achievement from being with the same team of teachers for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Our last area of focus was around curriculum, use of curriculum and programs that are proven to boost student achievement, and then the vertical alignment of that curriculum and the strategies. So in our implementation plan for that, we've actually implemented some new teaching programs this year. So Fontes and Pinnell for K-6. We're doing Lexia K-6, that actually started last year. The Fontes and Pinnell is a reading program, and that's new, that started this year. Expeditionary Learning K-8, so that's like really aligned with the New York State curriculum, and people have been using that in the past, but we're trying to use that with a greater degree of fidelity. Being a Writer, K-5, that's a writing program that was started last year, but that's continuing in those grades. And then for math, we have an IXL computer program that is being used in grades 6 through 8, and then we have the Zern math program, which is being used in grades K through 5. The intervention program is not used with all the students, but for students that are having decoding, reading decoding issues and falling behind in that area, students are using the really great reading program, and that's a program where the students are getting that instruction in small groups. Another part of our plan is that the teachers are working to some extent in vertical teams at times, so that to facilitate some discussion across grade levels about common strategies, common vocabulary, and practices. We are planning for some professional development that's going to be happening with grade level leads in math instruction, and the math leads at each grade level will be meeting in a vertical team to work on curriculum and to look at student work. And then the last piece of this was the instructional support coaches helping to ensure alignment of strategies and practices across all grade levels, because we're going into classes at the different grade levels and we kind of get to see what everybody's doing and give teachers support with their instruction in that area. Our measurement for this basically includes our testing. So hopefully if our programs are quality and they're working, we will see increases in our test scores. So we give common formative assessments across the year, NWA math and reading assessments, progress reports in Lexia, Zurn, and IXL. Each of the computer programs generate some progress reports as well. And then we also put down for measuring this, administrative walkthroughs and observations of building-wide instruction. As administrators come around, hopefully they'll see some commonalities in practices and strategies and the programs that are being implemented.
Thank you. So that was a lot. Sorry. Why don't we turn and talk and try to digest it and think about any questions we may have on anything that they shared with us, anything that you know is working because you work right in the school.
You mentioned expeditionary learning. Is that for all subjects or for just one?
Really, it's in the common core.
Mm-hmm.
It's in that area, and especially in 6, 7, and 8.
I can also
using that.
Yeah, I can also add some of the engagement protocols. We're also using engagement protocols at the middle school level. So there's engagement protocols that are developed through expedition learning that we're focusing on 5 protocols every month. We want to make sure the kids are getting used to using that encourage kids to talk, but it's a structured conversation and it's getting them out of their seats moving. For example, today in the English class, I observed kids doing a gallery walk and they're walking around and they're looking at documents and they were writing observations on the chart paper of what they thought about those documents, and they were circling around, going from station to station. So that's an example of an engagement protocol that was used today.
Okay, thank you.
I think we're also being really creative in how we're working with SUNY Geneseo and Dr. Simmons this year. She came up with a great idea, and I know that it's working because I observed students doing it last week, but instead of just having the practicum students, the student teachers come in and observe, they're actually teaching lessons around social studies and lessons that are culturally relevant. So the teachers are getting that experience, our students are getting that experience, and it's just a really nice way to bring it all together with instruction, with partnership. Any other questions around the instructional side of things? What that team is doing and how they're moving forward? All right, restorative team for community engagement.
I guess I can share with Matt some of the restorative work. So some really awesome things are going on with the restorative team. We have a really phenomenal team and people that are very interested. It's a very good thing because to have a school climate and culture that's positive and safe, you really need people on board and as part of building relationship piece and also understanding the common language needed to repair those relationships when they are broken. So a few things that we're working on right now. So we have a subcommittee now that's made up of 4 or 5 staff members in the school that actually work together and plan out the implementation for the larger group. It's comprised of a lot of staff members and teachers. So we've been meeting and started that work already. Some of the things that we have started is we have professional development with the Rock Restorative team led by Kevin. We're getting dates together for teachers to meet that. We also have a restorative meeting share out session that we have smaller teams within the larger restorative team comprised of the Strong Committee, VMA, a data group, a PD group, and a PLC group, and they will share out on the first Mondays of every month their work. We also have a mindfulness center that's going to be a proactive approach to teaching kids how to deal with social and emotional issues they may have And this mindfulness center, the purpose of the mindfulness center is to teach mindfulness strategies in the proactive side. So rather than wait for a kid to have an issue and then talk to them about mindfulness, we're letting people schedule times with their teachers and individual sessions for kids to come down and engage in mindfulness activities. We're actually working on that room just this weekend and building that room and what that's comprised of, so we're really excited about that work. We also have restorative lockers that we will have now in 7th and 8th grade, where kids can drop messages in those lockers if they want a restorative conference or a circle to request a circle. For the 5th and 6th grade team that have boxes and in the classrooms that they'll drop forms in if they want to have, or a ticket if they want to have a restorative circle or restorative conversation. So getting kids to be proactive and look at ways to deal with conflict differently. We also have family crew that meets, and I'd shared this before, but for those that are new, that meets with all grade levels from pre-K and up in the first 20 minutes of the day, 20 to 30 minutes of the day, which is just circling and building relationships. So we found a lot of success with that. Let's see what else we have. Oh, and we currently also have a couple lock-ins that we're scheduling to work with male and female mentorship. So one of the lock-in groups that we're planning to do this month is a boys lock-in for middle school boys with some of the male staff members, and we're looking to invite their fathers or male mentors to be a part of it for a portion of that, and then for us to kind of just stay the night with them, serve them dinner and serve them breakfast in the morning, and just getting them to look at things different. And those are going to be much richer and deeper conversations about the things that males are going through at this time in their life, not just what's going on in school. So we also have Mr. Matt can speak on some of the restorative work that we're doing that's student-led.
We are trying to create more systems where older students can work with younger students and mentor them. And so right now we are in the process of connecting and basically matching schedules of older classes, and when it works well for them to be in the younger classes. One thing that we're going to start, or that we're starting tomorrow, is having 6th graders go into the lunch period for kindergarten through 3rd grade so that they can get to know some of those students, help them in lunch period, and then eventually transition those relationships into the classroom.
A few other things just to mention. We are working with Whole Child Health to also schedule a poverty simulator that's coming our way. We're going to be partnering with another school to do that. That's also big in a relationship piece and tying the bridge and building the bridge with staff and their parents. And then in addition to that, we have morning meetings every other weekend, every other week on Fridays. That's K through 6. That they're phenomenal. They're really good at celebrating. And then we just started on middle school this past week with just the boys group, and it's going to be separated. It's going to be gender based. So morning meetings will alternate between boys and girls at the middle school level. We just had one for the boys that was really cool and I thought was impactful, but we're looking at ways to improve that process and continue to build from there. So that's what we have in terms of restorative work.
Thank you. Any questions? Any comments? Go for it.
I love the restorative student-led, how we bring the students with us to help us, because they've helped me in the baking club, and it's been amazing, as well as just coming in and helping us with, different things we need. It's just wonderful. I think it builds the confidence in the older kids, and then the younger ones kind of look up to them. So it's a great relationship. So I really enjoy it. Looking forward to tomorrow, my baking club. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments, input, questions, suggestions?
You mentioned a poverty simulator. What is?
Yeah, so I can give you a brief description of that. I'm not never been exposed to one, but I've talked a little bit about what it might be. And so essentially, what it is staff would be broken up in teams, and they would walk. They would be given a situation as if they were a parent in the community, and they had only a certain amount of funds, and they had certain things they had to get through within a week, and they would have to experience that. What would be some of the frustrations? What would be some of the things that you'd have to do? How would you prioritize your day? So just getting them to understand how to walk in the shoes of our parents in the community that do deal with poverty, and our students that do deal with poverty. So that's what the simulator essentially would provide is just a prior knowledge of that experience. So when you are reaching and having conversations with teachers, you're not speaking from an implicit bias about what you think should be going on. You might have a different way of communicating it, having experienced that.
Where does that come from? This familiarity? Where does that come from? Who brings that here?
Well, it was brought to our attention to some of the members on the whole child health team. They actually had posed that to us. Where it came from prior to that, I don't have prior knowledge of that. But I know that it was brought to my attention from someone on that whole child health team who thought it might be useful. And we talked it as a team and thought how it would be a good fit here in 19 as we're looking to build the relationship between us and the community.
There is an actual website called placement.org that's just that, a poverty simulator that I have my student placement.org.
Placement.
And it takes them through different scenarios. They have a budget and they have to make decisions on like some of these issues you just raised.
So if anyone here is interested, when we get more information and we're getting closer to the date of experience, if you would like to join us, just let us know. You're more than welcome to do that.
Great.
Carlos? One of the things on our, so we had a lot of different things on our list, and we tried to kind of put it together, because I know we're supposed to do everything that's on this list, we're supposed to show that we're doing correct. Is that correct? Okay.
Or we're making some progress toward,
Right.
we decided to put it on hold, we just have to figure out what we...
So one of the things that was on our list that we didn't really cover in our thing, and we kind of talked about that maybe we don't really have this in place yet, was the use of peer tutoring across grade levels. So I was just thinking, Matt, when you were saying that you have this mentoring program, that maybe we should coordinate a little bit and it could grow into like, I don't know, like reading buddies or something where we're actually kind of getting into the tutoring or like reading buddies, or it could even be with math, but we should maybe try to coordinate that.
Yeah, I think the older students are definitely more interested in that than the cafeteria work right now. The time to trying to find the time when it works for
scheduling
both
is
classes.
complicated, but even if we could do it in some small way.
Okay, great.
So ironic how all things come together for the greater good, because we had a new teacher meeting this morning at 8:15. And we're supposed to be talking about their worries, their hopes, their dreams about teaching, but we were talking about how can we partner middle school students with younger students. The same conversation came out of that meeting that's coming out of the instructional, coming out of restorative. So it's meant to be. Like, we just need to do it. We just need to do it.
And one other update I forgot to ask was the ATS process. So we did change or revamp the ATS process. So for those who aren't familiar, ATS stands for alternate to suspension. It's our room where students that are having some issues in class, they would stay there for the remainder of the day, as opposed to being sent home. What we've done is we made it more of a therapeutic approach and a stations approach. So kids are actually going from station to station. They're having time to do a workshop with the ATS teacher with a focus, say for example, respect for the day, and they'll be a part of that focus in that workshop. And then they'll go back to their stations and they'll work on a computer program such as iExcel or a reading program that they may have installed. And then they'll have some time to work on their core instruction. So it's really getting them up and moving, and they're not just sitting there in one place, kind of with their head down and disengaged. It's a different system, and it's meant to really bridge them back into the classroom with the therapy along with that, the support. So just an update.
Thanks. I think you wanted to say something.
Yes, I wonder, is that something that Links for Kids could help with bridging young students with older students? Because what we do is we have retirees that come in. We have a group of about 20 plus volunteers that come in and work with the children on literacy activities and then play. And we have a lot of games and toys and you name it, we have it in our room. So what we want to do is help the children use their creativity and imagination in a way that sometimes the classroom might not have time to do. Is that something that instead of, or in addition to helping at lunch, maybe they can come and be with the children in that kind of capacity of helping them out, or just be there because they need. It's good for little kids maybe to have older kids that are role models, And
So are you suggesting that maybe the older students would join you
Yeah.
during the Links for Kids time?
Yeah.
And work with an individual student to do
Yeah.
some literacy and then some play?
if that is something that would be beneficial for the younger students, because we only work with kindergarten.
Okay.
And we have 25 kindergartners, and we meet Wednesdays and Thursdays, and each volunteer has their own, and it really becomes their own student that they see the whole school year for once a week. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a possibility.
Okay.
For sure.
Good.
Thank you.
This year I was becoming more and more productive.
Anything else you want to add before we move into our last share out? All right. So community engagement team. Oh, thank you. Community engagement team met, and we had a lot to narrow down. At that meeting was Dorian Hall, Amanda Smith, Connor Kusak, John, Sheila, and Camille, who was there for Tanisha Johnson and myself. So we tried to come up with 3 main events or 3 main things to do. So we decided to go with an event that has already been going on, thank you, in our building for some time, but just to try to engage in that event in a different and a more meaningful way. And that's the Thanksgiving event in Coat Drive. So it's something that the local or area faith-based groups have been doing here for many years. And it's actually held at Flint Street. And this year is going to be on Friday, November 22nd. And there was an organizational meeting on the 8th that Sheila attended, and then our parent liaison, Alicia Bell, attended the follow-up meeting. And so what we decided to do was see what we can do to just make that event even more meaningful to our community. So in the past, we've sent home a flyer, but I haven't really done a robocall, or we haven't done incentives to have students and families come. So this year it's changing a little bit. It's not going to be a coat drive. It's going to be a Thanksgiving meal, and it's also going to be hat and gloves, I believe. So we were thinking some things that we could do, invite some community agencies to maybe line the hallways of our school so that we take it from just taking place in Flint Street to inside of our building as well. We thought about offering a raffle during the dinner, maybe a teacher table where they can welcome and have additional information, and then send home a redeemable ticket for a gift at the door. So just do a better job at inviting families, bringing families in, and also bringing in some more partners to this event. Then we had some action items there. So Dorian was going to share this with the President's Neighborhood meeting, and Sheila and Monique were going to attend the meeting. So again, Sheila attended, and then I sent Alicia to attend on my behalf. So that's moving forward. Something else we're trying to work hard to get up and going is Parent Academy. That's an area, I want to say weakness, area of growth for us, is getting parents through the door and having a true Parent Academy. And we're not certain if Parent Academy needs to be the name, but what the idea is to have ongoing activities and events for parents that they can attend with and or without their child. So step 1 is just to find out what parents are interested in, and then to move that forward, we have funds through Title I set aside for it. And actually, I just met with Omar Simmons. He works for Center for Youth, and he also works here in Help Zone. And he's going to be transitioning into a role that's sort of like a community partner. I don't know what it's called, CSSI, Community Site Coordinator, because we're supposed to get one, being under receivership, but it hasn't been granted. So I didn't want to wait any longer, so I was just trying to be creative in how can I better utilize what we have to get what we need. And also we have another woman, Jackie Brown, who's going to be assisting him in that. So we met today, so we have had conversations about how to get that up off the ground. So hopefully come the start of the new year, January that is, we'll have some Parent Academy events set up. Some key ideas would be to just make sure we have childcare, and maybe to provide information around home ownership, parenting, college, and finances. The next one is ELT, which is extending learning time. We've been struggling with ELT, to be honest. It's new to us this year, and I think the major struggle is we don't have the amount of resources that we thought we were going to have. So initially we thought we were going to be able to offer it to our full staff, And then when it came to rollout, we were only able to offer it to 22 teachers. So that's about half of what we wanted to participate in the program. So that's been a challenge. And also just thinking about ways we could utilize our community to come in, to support our students, or even ways the students can go out into the community. So we thought about doing some community service projects with students, utilizing resources like Imagine Rochester and Rock Future, and utilizing student government to get a student voice in to hear what students want to do. And I think that was it. Oh, and the last thing is the Square Fair, and that is the first Saturday in June, and we're working to have Strings for Success perform there, and also to have a school table up and another opportunity for us to go out into the community.
Is there a parent room here?
There is. It needs a little bit of love because it's a new space. So we're looking to give it some love. We would love to open, well, the doors are open, but we haven't done a good job at communicating it, to be honest. So we just need to get the communication out there that it's available. I want parents in there all the time, and we're not there. So we're open to ideas, suggestions. And also we have a community room as well, and I really would love the community to use that. So we have Jackie Campbell, who's going to be coming in on Saturday with one of her groups that she's involved with. They're just going to come in and utilize that space for their meeting. Free of cost. I'll come open the building. I just want the community to feel like, you know, you want to run something, you need a space. We have a space for you. What is it you want to do? So any questions, suggestions, input? Buy a group, you can tell it's sunny outside.
This Wednesday, if I can shoot myself here. This Wednesday, we've got the Southwest Common Council Education Committee meeting at the Arnett Library at 6 p.m. And we try to get, you know, as many folks from the education community as well as parents there, and so it would be great if we got some folks from 19 here to join us, and try. You know, I'm hoping with all this cross pollination we get with some of these videos that people are sharing ideas, but it's nice to see people face to face at some of these meetings also. And there's also a meeting coming up. The Education Committee's been working with the coalition, the Rochester Coalition for Public Education is setting up a forum for the 29th, which will be Tuesday of next week, I believe, and we need to. We got involved with them because we were pushing to get some short distance busing, which we felt would be helpful for the getting more local students enrolled in schools, and that would increase the likelihood of having parents get involved with the schools, because right now with all the cross-town busing we have, it's hard for a school to get all the local parents they would like to have to walk in and volunteer to do this or that, or just walk in to talk to teachers. So they had a similar goal, and so we're trying to, you know, make sure that we all are pulling in a similar direction and supporting each other, and that would be a good opportunity for, you know, anybody interested in the issues being covered. I'll send you a link to some of the online information on that, and you're welcome to join us.
Thank you. So I was thinking what we can do with our remaining time. I'm thinking about 10 minutes. If we just want to connect in our groups, talk about next steps, get another meeting on the calendar for the subgroup, and then our next meeting is going to be on the 18th, the full group of November. So why don't we just go ahead and do that, and then at that point, you can leave whenever you're ready, whenever your group has decided on your next steps and when you want to meet prior to our next meeting. And if you meet a group, feel free to join a group.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
We want to do with the ideas versus the action items. So is it going to be feasible for us, or do you think it's feasible for us to expand upon that event? So could we also have something going at the same time in our school?
I was wondering, I would like to be part of the community engagement team. Maybe that's where Links for Kids fit best.
I agree. Well,
And I was wondering if could we have a parent play night with our kids, or parent table with lots of different activities that they can do together with their children. They can be arts and crafts, they can be games, they can be building with Legos. I mean, something very concrete. Would that be something that could be part of the Thanksgiving event that we can have in our room, and kids and parents can come? We have quite a few alumni here too now. That also are welcome to come if they can have an alumni night or an alumni event.
We were just saying that.
So I think that's a great idea. The only thing
but just not people who were there.
that I bring to question is the location, because historically that has occurred in the gym. So I'm just worried, like, how will we get parents to go from the gym to the front of the building?
Yeah.
So would it be possible for you to utilize maybe the kindergarten classroom?
Absolutely.
Since it's right up the ramp?
Wherever is good, we can do that. Because we can bring all our materials in, and we can do a flyer of what is available.
Because I'm sort of thinking out loud. I'm thinking, what if we like transform that ramp /
just so you know.
floor area, and I can even like put some, I wouldn't say barriers, but just some barriers so that people don't roam throughout the whole building, and we have the tables there, we open the classrooms there, and we can have an experience where parents can weave in and out of different rooms and do different things, and then have a full meal, and then have some kind of structured play or activity with your child, and I love it.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. We can get quite a few volunteers, I think, to be part of that.
That would be fantastic.
And that would be Thanksgiving.
She's not a teacher.
So yes, the date on that is the Friday the 22nd.
Sharon, she knows.
And it's generally in the evening.
Yeah.
So I have to get the exact times.
She's good with those emotionals, yeah.
So I know they're already going to do the hat and the glove giveaway, so we can have Links for Kids.
She should get a
They can have play. Any other ideas on tables or things we can do that are or could be interactive? The parents could. We can do some kind of art.
Yeah, we do a lot of arts and crafts projects that are related to Thanksgiving.
Interesting for the parents and the kids to do something where, I don't know, handprints or whatever, and they can be hung somewhere and displayed. You know, something like that would be standing beyond just that night.
So I'll tell you, I don't know if you ever saw this hallway, Jamie, but it's the longest, darkest hallway, and the walls are white. We tried to brighten it up that way, but there's no natural light. So I think that'd be fantastic if at the top of that long hallway or the bottom of the ramp, that they do that, and then it goes right up on the wall. So before the night, we can have some kind of scene on the wall, and then, in real time, we can hang the pictures, and then the kids can see them when they come back. Like, that's when my mom and I came in, and we did X, Y, and Z. And all kids go down that hallway because all kids go to PE. So all kids will see it. Like, it's a hallway that everyone, pre-K through 8th grade, visit. I like that.
I know. Or let me in. Let me in. You can always do 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock on Friday.
And I was actually just talking to the art teacher around painting some picture frames on the wall so that we can just literally put up a child does a picture or whatever, and we can just literally put it up and then take it down because it has this built frame already there. So I don't know how quick she can get it done, and then she'll leave a space, and then you can just take whatever picture you have, just stick it up there with tape or with masking tape or painter's tape.
Oh, we want some in the links for two.
You want some in there too? You can go in there too, no problem. No problem.
We'd love, yeah.
It's gonna be like.
That would be really cool.
expectation.
It needs some love. It's an older building and dark floor, and love that. Can we think of any other things that families might like to do together? So we'll have the links for kids, and you guys are going to do play. We'll have something art.
Javier is not accepting any jobs right now for printing.
Or do we want to consider bringing in some partners just to share information, or do we want to just save that for another night and just keep this one very interactive and doing?
Can we do a storyteller in? Telling stories, or is that too?
Go through so much.
I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think storytelling would be good.
Thanks, try.
So they can either go to storytelling,
Yeah.
they can go to arts,
or they
or
can go to
games.
Yeah.
I always think music brings people together too.
Say that again?
Music brings people together too, like
Yes, it
storytelling,
does.
like creative.
Yeah, and we have two.
I'm not musical, but volunteer for any of that.
Say, what instrument do you play?
Nope.
No, we have Elmina Whites, we will invite her to come to the school for the kindergarten. And she's just amazing. She's absolutely amazing.
She is.
Yeah, she's just the character. So one can almost ask her if that's something they would be interested in. We have another guy called Vincent Nunes, who does art, who does music and dance, and we will ask him to come in too for the kindergarten as part of the Links for Kids program. And he is really energetic. And that's another possibility. Maybe that's something that Links for Kids can support.
That would be
If
just thinking something to bring them together, to be like, we're gonna do this type of dance. Now, whoever's standing here in the hallway, let's just do it together.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I envision, just having fun.
I should send you the
Works, because maybe we have Brianna do that in the hallway, like dancing in the hallway or something.
The play works.
All these things.
I like the music.
It definitely brings people together.
Well, it just radiates through the hallway too.
It does.
yeah, people will get curious and come along. And,
So we kind of just squeezed them into the 3 areas. And I'll just send you that document and we'll make 2.
I'm excited.
This is very exciting.
I'm excited.
It reminds me of you were saying you went somewhere.
Yes, I
And
went
then
to.
and it was like all these different rooms and different things.
That's my
This was-
dream right there, is
Yeah.
to have a huge Saturday event where the whole building is open and utilized, and our families that live across the street come to, their children will go to 19, everyone just comes in, doors are open. And I went to it was in Buffalo.
Okay.
And it was fantastic. So it was a community schools conference, and then they did it on the day of their Saturday event. So you walk into this building, and I'm walking in thinking, am I in the right place? Because it's like way too many people here. So my event was in the auditorium, but the building was bustling. There was breakfast, there was a clothing drive, there was guacamole math, there was taekwondo, there was line dancing, there was, you name it, they had it. It was just so fantastic. And parents got a little sheet, they checked off where they wanted to go, and they had things start at a certain time so you can transition, like every half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. Then they stopped everything for lunch. Everyone came together, had lunch together, and then went to their last activity, and then went home. I've never seen a school
I like that
so
a lot.
alive. It was so alive. And they're to the point where they do it like every Saturday or every other, but they've been doing it for many years. So I would love to do it like once every couple of months, or until we can get it up and going. Like offer haircuts and
I was just thinking of that yesterday.
classes for parents and childcare. You can leave your child here for a half hour, so you can go to something, come back, pick up your child, and go to something with your child. So you have some different, options.
I love it, because I was just talking to my mom yesterday, and I was saying to her, you know what, I would love to have kids get their haircut. And I actually asked the barber, I said, would you mind if you come in my school and just kind of cut the guy's hair? And he said, sure, I would do it. Of course, we have to have a parent.
Well, actually, if parents are there,
So I'm thinking,
it's like going to the barbershop. Like you walk your child in and can give them a haircut. The parents will be there.
so is that something would be okay? Okay, because I already told them in advance. I already started
So
thinking.
you knew it was going to work.
I didn't.
Another 10 minutes, so please feel free to leave as you need to.
Oh, that's great.
So I get ideas and I just start asking people ahead in case.
Get things lined up.
I do.
And it usually works out.
It does. It really does.
That's very good.
And I'm thinking too, I mean, I don't know if this is too much, but I'm starting to get like Karen, let's
Yeah.
just do everything. So I'm thinking, what if we maybe did a food drive, a canned good drive for our building? I shouldn't say for our building, but through our building, and then we have an area on this night too, because it's gonna be really close to the holiday, where if parents wanna come in and shop, and maybe we can say, 3 items, you may take, 3 items, and they can choose what 3 items they want to take.
Oh, I like that.
Haven't you done something like that before too? They were
Not
giving
since
away
I've-
turkeys, or they were giving away food baskets. Or...
Right, so we have done that as a building each year, so we would come up with like a five families who we think would benefit from it.
That's what it was,
And
yeah.
we would do it in-house.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever had like more of a pantry idea of, I need something, so can I come and sort of shop and take what I need?
I like that.
That's kind of nice.
Or, I mean, maybe, and we talked about raffles, so maybe we can raffle one of the baskets this year, instead of just giving them to families, we can use that as maybe an incentive to come to the event.
I like that.
Are you tied in with Food Link for getting some food here?
We are not directly, but Edgewood Free Methodist Church, who runs Bible Club on Tuesdays, they utilize Food Link for dinners for that club. So I'm sure I can talk with Kim about how to get a connect going.
Yeah, that would be good.
They're very good. They just gave us $50 the other day.
Are you with it?
Food LinkedIn?
Edgewood.
You know Kim Roth, right? Kim Roth, who comes and volunteers, and she runs the Bible Club. You haven't met? I think maybe.
Oh, I met her last year. I think.
Yes.
Yes, but I don't know her. I recognize the name, but I don't have a face.
We'll have to get you guys connected again.
Yeah, that would be good. Do you ever have any contact with volunteer groups at the University of Rochester?
One, Project Care, and I think there might be another one, but they haven't started up quite yet this year. And normally it takes them a little while to get going because the students are just coming back to school in their student-run groups.
Yeah.
In future, that would not be a helpful.
But the Project Care group we've traditionally worked closely with.
And what do they do?
They come over and they just do some one-to-one tutoring. So they'll send me an email and say these are the students that are willing to participate or are interested in participating, and then I would match them with a classroom who would like to accept them in, and then they work out their days and hours.
And Nazareth? Anything with them?
We get a few student teachers, but not a formal relationship or partnership.
Why I'm asking is because I saw a bunch of students, I think, came in the other day.
What day was it, Wednesday or Friday?
Probably Wednesday or Thursday.
SUNY Geneseo, like
Oh,
30
I see.
students, 30 students coming at a time. It's like,
I
it's the
see.
best.
That's where they came from.
Oh, yeah. That's Dr. Simmons. She brings her whole crew with her. So is there a time where we could meet again, maybe in the next couple of weeks? Because if we're talking about doing these things for this November 22nd, I feel like we're going to need to make some moves.
We're gonna need it now.
What sort of time of day are you thinking?
Well, I'm here all day. Just saying. So I can do morning, I can do afternoon, I can do evening, whatever it works for most.
I left my iPhone. That's just not heard of.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know. I'm
I
like,
lost my
I
calendar.
leave mine too. You can have mine.
But so say a date and I'll make
Okay,
sure.
so I won't choose a date. I'll let someone else put it out there. So I'm thinking either we meet next week. We probably need to meet next week because it looks like Ingrid, you're here, so you can confirm links for kids. I'm sure I can get someone at school to do some art project, like some of the painting like Jamie talked about, and get it hung up immediately. I'm hoping staff will come and support. Playworks, I can get Brianna.
I can take care of the hair and getting parent forms. Do you have like?
I don't know if we want to do parent forms because I think it needs to be, you know, we can advertise it to our kids and say, if you want a haircut on this night, please come with your parent.
Okay.
So that your parent can get permission.
Okay. Okay. And do you think we need to have? I don't want to have a limit, but like, how do I organize it? Like, so if I tell the barber, okay, you're gonna come in from this time to this time. Should I do it like that the whole evening? Like, so say we just start at, I don't know, 6 to 9. Just use that and say, okay, you're gonna be cutting hair from 6 to 9. Like, how will I judge it? Like, how can I
would ask him what time he's available, and then, you know, I mean, hopefully parents will understand it's a first come, first serve.
Okay.
I mean, everyone is not going to be able to
get their hair done. Okay. Gotcha.
We even have a sign up there, so if they come and it's
And have a-
10
yeah.
deep, they come check back in.
Yeah, maybe a barber can say, yeah, I mean, and hopefully, well, he's gonna do, I think, just like general cuts, like we're not gonna be doing designs and all that, so, okay, just keep it going, right?
Yeah. And the other thought is we have Mr. Simmons who also cuts hair, so I can have, if this barber isn't available, I can have him as a backup, or I can have both of them together. That way it'll cut down on the crowd. So you can have, okay. That's Mr. Simmons too. He's really good. Okay. Alrighty.
So what about the storyteller?
Yeah, do you want me to check on that?
What do you all think?
What do you think?
Oh gosh, yeah. That's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah. Oh, she's
amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. Okay, so I'll check on the storyteller on the November 22nd. What is the time
I
period?
have to check on that. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
All right, but we talk to her anyway.
All right, so we're back to the date. The date.
On next Monday?
The 28th. 28th works well for me.
And during the day?
That works well for me too. So I'm available from noon until 2, and then from 2:30 for the rest of the day.
Whatever's good for you.
Noon till 2? Is that?
You want to meet at 2? I mean, I'm sorry, I can do 2:30 or 3. I already have a 2 o'clock on Monday, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've got anything else.
You want to do, can you do earlier, like a noon or 1?
Yeah.
1 sounds good.
1? Sure, all right, I can send a meeting notice to everyone.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the 21st, is it?
It's the 28th.
28th, I'm looking, yeah.
And to set up the play activities, we could just set that up in the classroom.
Yeah, I'll talk to the
Talk to
kindergarten
them.
teachers.
Yeah, see what they
And
think.
see if we can set it up right there. I mean, they have those 2 spacious.
Yeah, we have huge rooms and nice tables. We can do stations for different kinds of activities.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think about Miss White. It's like, because we could put her in the preschool room next, like we could just block off that whole first floor wing. Maybe put her in the room next door.
She really liked to be here the last time she was here. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I will send a meeting notice for Monday, the 28th at 1 p.m. Inger and I and Karen will check on a few items. And I think that's it.
Sounds
Great.
good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.